Alright guys, so today's video we're going to talk about a different kind of product because most of the time on the channel we're always talking about wireless earbuds and wireless headphones, but the pair that we're going to check out today, which is the SoundMAGIC E80D, actually uses a wired connection and not even a normal headphone jack connection. This pair uses a USB-C, which at this point, you know, every device, even the newest iPhones, use a USB-C connection. So it's kind of making itself pretty universal as far as what it can be used for. Because, you know, all these other devices are getting rid of the headphone jack. So for those that like to use wired earbuds, this is kind of one of the last few options out there. They do come in at $45, which I think is a very low price, especially considering this pair also has a high-res DAC built into it that gives you 24-bit playback at 96 kilohertz. So that's pretty much as close to CD quality as you're going to get. The wire that's on these actually kind of resembled the wire that's on a lot of IEMs. It's a silver-plated copper cable. The USB-C connection is an angled plug-in, and I'm a huge fan of this because it keeps the plug from sticking out as far, and it kind of helps you from damaging the cable over time. But speaking of that USB-C connection, there's one thing I need to say about this because I felt like it would just work on every device that used a USB-C connection, and it didn't. It worked perfectly fine with my Pixel Fold. It worked perfectly fine with my Windows laptop, but it didn't work with my handheld gaming device, which was an Android device, and it also did not work with a MacBook that had USB-C connection. So I don't know if it only will work with certain USB-C ports. I don't know if it only works with certain devices, but it did work with my Pixel Fold, which is my main phone. So again, that was my main purpose of having these. But I really wanted a one pair of earbuds to work for everything. And it didn't do that because it didn't work with my laptop that I like to use, my small, MacBook that's easy to just kind of carry around. And it did not work with that handheld gaming device, which I use quite often. Now on the cable, it also has inline controls. So if you're somebody that's used to using wireless earbuds where you have all of your controls, you still have this ability, but it's just on those inline controls that's located on the cable. Now, as far as anything they've included in the box, it does come with a pretty nice zippered case. It's somewhat of a hard case. This keeps these from being crushed, but it also allows you to keep the ear tips that they've included because they do give you a small, medium, and large silicone ear tips. And they've also included a pair of double flanged ear tips, which I like this. I think if there's people out there that prefer the double flanged ear tips, I like that you have this option right out of the box. And the build quality and the design of these, I feel like the earbuds are very, very small. It just reminds me a lot of when I used to cover a lot of other wired earbuds. It's very subtle. There's nothing flashy about these at all. And I'm a huge fan of that. I don't like to have a lot of attention drawn to me because of the products that I'm using. So like some headphones are big and flashy, some earbuds are these bright colors, which I completely understand, but I do like to just have something that's subtle, that's not drawing any extra attention. Now these do have a metal build, so they feel pretty solid, but they're not heavy. Once they're in your ear, they balance pretty nicely. They don't feel like they're gonna fall out or anything like that. But another strength of using these because of that wired connection is the microphone. The microphone on these, because it's not relying on a Bluetooth connection, you don't have to worry about like digital artifacts. You don't have to worry about this just noise that you normally get with regular earbuds. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here is a quick mic test using the SoundMAGIC E80D, and this is just to show you how well it's picking up my voice. This is just plugged straight into my phone. So this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is the mic test with a crowd noise being played that you can hear here. So this is just to give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. Now the sound of these are being powered by 10mm neodymium dynamic drivers, and I feel like the sound has really good range, but where they lack is the volume. And this, again, kind of surprised me. I felt like there would be more than enough power going to these to be able to get them loud enough. And plugged into my Pixel Fold, which is the way that I use these pretty much all the time, the volume had to be at max all the time. And I still felt like I would rather have turned it up 2 or 3 more notches. So if you're going to use these in the gym where you might want to try to block out the music being played in a gym, this might be an issue because, again, I don't feel like they get near loud enough compared to other wired earbuds, and especially compared to a lot of wireless earbuds that I test out. So it does feel like it's kind of limited there. But the sound overall, I don't feel like is limited. I feel like the bass has a really nice, fast, aggressive punch to it, which means that it works really great across all genres. It still kind of has that subwoofer feel, but the bass is very quick to move on from one hit to the next. So it's not sloppy, it's not making the rest of the music be congested, because that's another strength of this pair of earbuds, is everything is very well separated. You can tell each instrument is separated. You can tell that the vocalist is bumped up a little bit. The mids are pushed slightly forward on these. So male and female vocalists and guitar riffs, everything just separates itself from everything else, but not so much that it sounds artificial. And same thing with the treble on these have a nice detailed sound, but because the volume is limited, it never felt like it was harsh. You never had that sibilant sound in the S's. It felt like that was pretty well controlled. And I think that's the best way to describe the sound of these overall. It's like they wanted to bump everything up, and they did to a certain extent. They didn't want it to be too ear fatiguing, and they just kind of allowed these to sound like a pretty well balanced pair of earbuds. Now, I don't mean balanced as in like reference or neutral sounding. They're not flat, not even close. Again, the bass is very aggressive. The treble is aggressive to a point. The mids are pushed forward, so they didn't leave it as like a flat sound. And then when it comes to the sound stage and the sound imaging, there's a lot of space, so it sounds like a very open sounding pair of earbuds, which again is kind of surprising considering that they do have everything kind of bumped up. But the limiting of the volume, I don't know if this is to keep these from getting distorted, because I never had any kind of distortion in the audio. And again, keeping it from sounding harsh might have been the goal. But it still just felt like it could use another notch or two when it came to the volume. But plugged into a PC, I didn't have any issue with the volume, but that's just because you have more power coming out of a device like that. So my overall opinion on these, it's pretty simple. If you're looking for a wired pair of earbuds that's kind of future-proof because of that USB-C connection, although that is also what's limiting it because it's not really compatible with everything. Not having to worry about charging your earbuds, and if you're fine with having that wire, you know, kind of hanging around or sticking into your device, but again, that's kind of old school. Once you do it for a while, you kind of even forget that it's there. For $45, this is a really nice pair to have. It's only limited due to its volume. But guys, that's my video on the SoundMAGIC E80D. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.